is wrong with this team? I don't know what's wrong with this team. This god team, I can't figure it out. It's driving me up a freaking wall right now. Welcome. I'm the Deadwood Jedi, and this is another Raid Shadow Legends video. Today we are in my account. Well, about a week ago, I put out a video where, how do I put this? I put a Valkyrie video out. It was supposed to show Valkyrie and how you can use her versus Affinity and keep her in the same tune. And I might have, how do I phrase this? Screwed up royally. So badly, and so in fact that I had to take the video down. It was just wrong. The speeds I was using didn't work for what I said they were working for, and so as upset as I was, I had to take it down. I had to take it down right away. I discovered it on stream. I actually had a pretty fun reaction to it. I think you guys might enjoy. Here, why don't I show you a quick clip? What the? Wow, I literally just have to take the video down. I don't know what else to do. I really, man, it's really annoying. What is wrong with this team? I don't know what's wrong with this team. This god team, I can't figure it out. It's driving me up a freaking wall right now. So yeah, I didn't react super well to that, but I thought you guys might get a fun enjoyment out of it. Let's just say that carried on for a few minutes. It was not a short moment. Kind of embarrassing, but you know, the fact of the matter is I don't like putting stuff out there if it doesn't work, if it's not factual and accurate. So this one, I decided, hey, you know what? I'm gonna find this because I know it's doable. I know there's a way to be a Valkyrie build that's Affinity friendly, that works on Ultra Nightmare just like it works on, that works on Void just like it works on Affinity. And so that's what I did. And I've kind of figured it out. I figured it out for a variety of different things. So I got a couple videos lined up. Today, we're gonna be looking at a Valkyrie Affinity team where everybody's moving at a 1-1 ratio, a standard team. Everybody's moving at the same speed every time. They're going the same turn order every single time down. So nobody has more than a 3-turn cooldown on their skills. And this is going to work. And it's going to work really well, as a matter of fact. But it all comes down to the speeds you put your champions at. So I'm going to show that to you. Before we get into it, I do want to ask, though, about 2/3 of you guys watch my videos and don't subscribe. I would really love it if you guys would just take a minute, hit the subscription button, hit the notification bell if you can so you know when my next videos come out. The like button's always great, but really subscribing is the easiest, most cost-effective way for you guys to support my work and my channel. If you enjoy what I'm doing, that's an easy way to help me continue to do this. This is my full-time job now, believe it or not, and I don't believe it. And I don't know how long I'm going to be able to keep doing that, but you guys subscribing makes that much more viable for me to do so. So I would really appreciate that. That said, let's go ahead and look at the champions. I'm going to explain exactly what's going on here, and then I'll show you a run of how it works. Okay, well, you can't start anywhere if we're not going to start with Valkyrie. She is the crux of the team. She's the reason why we're putting this team together here. If you have a Valkyrie, you understand exactly how hard it is to tune her. She has this passive ability, this jealousy passive, where it gives her a 10% turn meter boost every time an enemy puts a buff on. And against Affinity Clan Boss, that happens after the first AoE. Well, or on the first AoE, actually. But on Void, the Clan Boss doesn't do that. So she has basically 2 different speeds that she works at, depending on Void or Affinity. So it's very difficult to tune her. But there was a gentleman, I cannot remember his name, somebody over Discord messaged me how they figured it out. And I've been working off that since then. And so I've come up with a couple different variations of it, but I can't remember his name. So if you know that this is you, please come let me know so I can put your name on this comp on the website. This will be on the website, by the way. But basically what we need to do is we need to have Valkyrie as slow as possible. So we have our Valkyrie at 172 speed. Now 171 speed would work just as well, but 171, 172, even 173, I believe can work. But the idea is just to have her as slow as we possibly can. And that's just going to ensure that she's going to stay going last in the composition. And then the next champion we need, it doesn't really matter who, because the speeds are all going to be kind of the same. By the way, masteries, if you're interested, I just have the support tree to get bigger shields going for an attack tree. I don't really feel like I need to go through that for this. You can watch my masteries videos if you want to know what to put on these kinds of champions. But the next few champions, everybody else is going to go between 187 and 189 speed. So I need to ensure they go slower than the Ultra Nightmare Clan boss, but as fast as possible. The reason for that is Valkyrie gets a 10% turn meter boost. I need to ensure that the rest of the champions are gaining enough turn meter so that that 10% turn meter boost doesn't actually have Valkyrie go before them. And so by doing that, by getting them that fast, it's going to work. Now, as far as like the speed ratio, the slowest of those champions needs to be at least 11 speed faster than Valkyrie. If I can do that, then it should work. But so we're going to bring in Alton here. Alton we have going at 187. He's actually going to be our slowest champion. He's going to be in the lead. He will take the stun. And we got him pretty well kitted out, I think. And then we're also going to bring Battle Khazar, who's going at 188 speed. Now, Battle Khazar is going to cleanse the stun for us, so we don't have to worry about that. And we're also going to bring in Vizier to extend all the buffs. He's going at 188 speed as well. And that his whole job is to extend those buffs. And then we have Rosin here to complete it, going at 189 speed. By having him go fastest, we're going to eliminate his need to use the A3 skill. As long as the clan boss turn meter is under 30%, he won't use the A3, he'll only use his A1. That's a big increase in damage for us, so that's why I actually want him going first. Not to mention, more attacks benefit from that decreased defense and weakening because he puts it on sooner. So that's going to be the team. It's nothing super complex, nothing super crazy. Everybody's just going at a 1-1 ratio. Going at a 1-1 ratio is the simplest way to do a clan boss team, right? We have the same order every single time. The key to making that really work for you is having everybody with 3 turn cooldowns. That's the case here. And because of that, we're going to be very, very well off. Now, this obviously doesn't work for Spirit Affinity. So for Spirit, you're going to have to come up with something a little bit different. But for everything else, this should work just great. Now, obviously, the Affinity is going to dictate where the stun goes as well. But I think in this case, we should be just fine. Let me go ahead and get Alton in there. So because this is a blue Affinity clan boss, the stun should actually go to Valkyrie here. That's okay. It's not a big issue for us. We just want to make sure that we are aware of where these things are happening and when they're happening. So that's it. That's the name of the game. Let's go ahead and we'll do the run here. So everybody's going slower than the clan boss. So you can see the clan boss went ahead and attacked first. Again, I don't want to use Rosin's A2 skill until we get the counterattacks up, just so we can benefit from that the most. Same thing with Battle Khazar is going to have to cleanse the stun, so we definitely need to wait on that. And otherwise, everybody's going to go ahead and do their turn. Now, Alton, I want to make sure he uses that increased defense before Valkyrie puts up her counterattack, so we got to wait on that. So basically, this whole first cycle is a bit of a waste for us. That's okay. We'll get through it. Continuing on here, just going to continue to use our A1s till we get through that first cycle. Now, we don't have any block debuffs, so it is going to be a little bit painful as far as getting debuffs like this. This accuracy debuff is definitely going to hurt us as we go along. It's not the preferred method, but it should still work. Now that the stun has happened, we can go ahead and Rosin can A2 there, try to get decreased defense and weaken. Of course, resisted. And then there we go with the cleanse from Battle Khazar. We're going to get Vizier to extend all those debuffs, and then we'll go ahead and put the increased defense buff there with Alton to make Valkyrie's shields that much bigger. This is a pretty standard clan boss team, pretty standard clan boss cycle here. The only issue, of course, is getting those debuffs up at the appropriate time. Now, I probably should have used Rosin's A2 ability here. Since we have Vizier, we can pretty much extend all these till our heart's content. So I didn't need to wait on everything there. That was a mistake on my part, but it's only just going to be a couple million damage. I'm not really sweating it that much. I think this team should have plenty of success as we go anyway. Unfortunately, because I have Vizier, I do need a manual for a while, but that's just the name of the game with that guy. I feel like it's worth the trade-off. One thing to pay attention to, look at the turn meters. That's the thing that we're trying to deal with right here. You can see Rosin is always near a full turn meter when it's his turn. When the clan boss goes, Rosin has almost completely full turn meter. That means when he does take his attack, the clan boss will have a very low turn meter, and thus he'll only use his A1. Go ahead and use that A1 again. We get that cleanse from Battle Khazar. And look at the difference in turn meter between Valkyrie and the rest of our champions. That's what's going to ensure that we stay in tune. And that's going to be very important, just to keeping our team in tune, lined up, and working well despite the affinity change. Well, not too shabby. 47 million damage. Obviously, I have a lot of guys that can hit hard, and I kitted them out the way they should be. Everybody's in stalwart gear. We're gonna last as long as possible. You did notice Valkyrie went down because we didn't have increased defense up on her. She was taking the stun every time because she's weak affinity. Obviously, there's gonna be some swings, but the point is that we had Valkyrie in tune. She went last every single turn. That's what we wanted, despite the fact that we were in Affinity. Now, obviously, you can do things to block debuffs, right? You can bring in a Grizzled Jarl to do that, or a Mausoleum Mage. In fact, there is one thing I want to point out here with this. Yes, I had Valkyrie going slowest on this. because everybody else was going so fast. If I had a champion going slower than what I had, like say, because I have Valkyrie at 172, if I had a champion going at 182 or slower, they would have gone after Valkyrie. So I can still tune this even with a slower champion and still keep the same thing. So if I wanted a Grizzled Jarl instead of a Bad Alcazar to block the stun or block the debuffs, I can do that just by putting them in the 170s range or 182 even, just less than 11 speed, right? So if I have somebody at 183, they're going to go ahead of Valkyrie. If I have them at 182 or slower for 172 Valkyrie, they should go after her in the turn order. And obviously, true speeds are going to matter with that. So, use your heads, figure that part out. But generally, if you stay within about 10 speed of Valkyrie, Valkyrie's 10% turn meter boost will put her ahead of them before the next turn. So you just, that's where you know. And it worked out great, though, this time, right? And, obviously this maybe not my preferred way to go against Affinity. It's not going to work against Spirit Affinity, for example. But I think I can make this work by bringing in a Sepulchre Sentinel. And so my next video, that's what we're going to do. So guys, this was something I definitely wanted to show, and I feel so awful that my last video fell apart completely. But I'm going to show this one. This is the 1-1 version of this, right? Where everybody's going at a 1-1 ratio. My next video, I'm going to bring Sepulchre Sentinel in, and we're going to go at a 4-3 ratio with one champion. That way we'll be able to block all the debuffs with Valkyrie, stay in tune just like this, for both Ultra Nightmare and Nightmare. And the great thing is that composition should work for Nightmare, Ultra Nightmare, Void, Affinity, all of it. We have to make one small change to make it work completely perfectly, but it's nothing too major. And the great thing is if you have a champion like Alton, you can actually sub him in for a champion like Sepulchre Sentinel, depending on which affinity, difficulty, etc. that you're doing. Now this composition here, this composition also works for Nightmare. Because the speed ranges are what they are, this works for Ultra Nightmare and this works for Nightmare just the same. Exactly the same composition. So I don't care if you're in Affinity or you're not in Affinity, this is going to work exactly the same way. So having your champions at like 188, 189, 187, faster than your Valkyrie is crucial to making this work. But yeah. So hopefully this was helpful for you guys. If I don't see you before then, have a Merry Christmas Eve. Have a Merry Christmas. And again, thank you guys for taking the time to subscribe. Really does mean a lot. Hitting that notification bell. And if you enjoyed this video, hit the like button because that always helps too. But till next we meet, I'm the Deadwood Jedi.